as you're a short way into your journey of moving towards everyday strength, I want to talk to you today about how to maintain your focus on this path. It's pretty easy to get excited about the new program at the beginning and to really diligently stick to the program, do what's asked of you, and do it every day when you can. However, eventually, we all know real life kicks in, starts to draw your attention in other directions. Your kids get sick, you've got building work at home, which means your space has got invaded, you're having a totally full on time at work, or it's the holidays and your routine goes completely out of whack. So how do you carry on at that point, and how much leeway do we give ourselves to not stick to the program when stuff is going on all around us? Of course, if you're run down, you're totally exhausted, your kids are ill, or you literally have no time to do anything, then there's nothing to gain from beating yourself up. So life happens, and we need to be kind to ourselves, and that's know that it's okay to do whatever you can manage, and if that's nothing, then that's nothing. You move on to the next day, the next week, whenever you're able to pick it up again. Self-compassion is really key at this point. But today I'm going to talk to you about values and actions, and how you can recognise those that may be unhelpful and those that may be helpful towards where you want to get to. So we can think of a scale which goes along a horizontal line. I hope you can see that. So we've got towards at one end and away at the other. And this, what I'm going to do here is in a handout on the email that you've got, which will be, which details how to go through this. So you can do this yourself if you want to print it out, pause the video, print it out and come back to it, and that's absolutely fine. So we can think of a scale which goes along a horizontal line towards and away on each end. And those words will become more significant in a minute. Where you sit on this line is somewhere in this circle able to slide along the horizontal line, depending on the context of what's going on for you. So, for example, if somebody said to you, let's go out for a gorgeous afternoon tea at the Lanesborough, which is my favourite indulgence, then there's a good chance you'll be running towards that with bells on. Now think if someone said, let's go and do a Tough Mudder, there's electric shocks, there's a skip filled with freezing cold water, it's 20 kilometres long race, oh, and it's tomorrow. Now, I reckon there might be all sorts of things going on in your head and verbally, providing plenty of ways to avoid this event, and fairly reasonable excuses as to why you can't do it. All fair enough, but we're going to apply this to you and your real life experience. So those are just two fairly extreme examples. So when we're going to look at this, we're also now going to add in our actions, thoughts and feelings to this sliding scale, which helps to fill this out a little bit more. If we have towards on the right of the scale and under the line, what we're going to ask, and what you're going to ask yourself, so do this for yourself, is who or what is important to you. So you can take a moment now to think about what you might write down here. And as we are talking about this during this exercise program, I'm going to write down being pain-free, feeling confident in my body, and feeling strong. So obviously yours may be different examples. This might not be an issue for you, but it might be an issue in a different area of your life. So it might be something you'd want to look at in a different way. So I'm going to write those three things down. Okay, so I've written those three things down here. These are the things that are important to you, and I'm obviously talking about it in this one particular area of life. So you're writing down who or what is important to you in this block, under the line and in the towards side of the line. And on the left under the line, so in the away side, I want you to write down, think of all the unwanted stuff that shows up and gets in the way of the things that you value. So I'm talking about thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So in this example, what I might write down is, I can't be bothered, I'm too tired, I'm in pain, it's not going to work, so why bother? So I think all of those maybe you might recognise as being genuine thoughts, feelings and emotions that might come up when you think about complying, like doing your exercises on a daily basis. You wake up in the morning and think, I'm too tired, I can't be bothered. You get to the end of the day and you haven't done anything yet and you think, nah, I'm not sure it really works anyway, I just won't bother. Or you say to yourself, well, actually my back's been hurting a little bit all day, so probably best if I just leave it and don't do anything. So all of those things are thoughts, feelings and emotions that get in the way of you doing the stuff that's important to you. So I'm going to write those down now. Okay, so I've written those 4 points down here, which are all thoughts, feelings and emotions. So above the line, what we're going to look at is the actions that you take in response to those things, and whether or not you're moving towards or away from what you want, or those actions, those feelings. So on the left here, in the away section, on the away side of the matrix, what do you do to move away from this unwanted stuff? So when you get the thought, and applying this again in this situation particularly, when you get the thought that at the end of the day, I can't, I've got to the end of the day, I haven't really done anything, I can't really be bothered, I'm a bit tired. What you might then do is turn on the television and sit and watch Netflix or a box set or something like that for a couple of hours, and then also going to bed late. So you have an action that actually also drives you away from that feeling that you were getting. So other things might be, when you wake up in the morning and you think, oof, I'm a bit tired, I don't want to do my exercises now, hit snooze and keep on sleeping in. So what I might say here in relation to our particular example might be sleeping in longer, watching TV, scrolling on your phone, micromanaging the household, and I'll come on to the micromanaging the household bit in a minute. So I'm going to write those ones down up there now. Okay, so I'm sure you might also be able to think of other habits that you do that are maybe not helpful habits. So they're ones that help to drive you away from what's important to you, and also drive you away from dealing with or understanding the thoughts, feelings and emotions that are coming up on the left-hand side, the bottom left-hand side of this matrix. So again, fill in what you think is the most relevant to you. If you have any questions, you want to talk this through, then get in touch with me. So on the right, what we're going to look at is what actions can you or do you take that move you towards who or what is important to you. So when I'm looking at pain-free, feeling confident in my body, feeling strong, what I might look at for the actions might be getting up half an hour earlier to every day to do my exercises, or if you take maybe something, if you think of something particularly practical in your life, every Tuesday I always have a 1 hour gap sitting in my office between meetings, and I'll spend half an hour of that doing my exercises. Or when I'm looking at one of the things that quite often happens, the micromanaging the household, often what I hear from people is that when a partner is home and able to do stuff with the kids, they're also hanging around, doing the washing, tidying the house, setting up things so that everything's tidy, or cooking the dinner or something like that, sort of generally managing the stuff that's going on that other people could be doing, or you could just be leaving. So another example in that case might be when my partner is home for kids' bedtime, I'll leave him to it and take myself away and have time dedicated to me. So I want you to think about, particularly if you're doing this particular scenario, when you're looking at this matrix, think about the things that maybe you've done in the past that have really worked and helped, and you've just slipped out of the habit of. Times when you've been able to take some really good positive action that goes with your values and the things that are important to you. Write them down so that you really acknowledge the stuff that you can do and know that helps. That will be really positive. Don't write down something that is utterly unrealistic and completely not relevant to you. If, for example, you write down exercising for an hour a day every single day without fail, and that's not actually possible for you, don't write it down, because you want to be taking actions that are actually actionable. Okay, so I filled in all 4 sections of this matrix thing. And I just want you to remember, the idea of this is not necessarily to get you to see what it is that you can do that's helpful, but it's more for you to notice the unhelpful habits that you may have that are preventing you from moving towards what you value and is important to you. So when we are able to notice the thoughts, feelings and emotions that show up when we are avoiding tasks we don't want to step out of our comfort zone to deal with or experience, then it helps us to defuse ourselves from those thoughts. Observe them just as they are, thoughts only, and make room for them without needing to suppress, control, or escape from them. We can use self-compassion to understand why we are wanting to avoid experiences that might be a challenge, and we can be good-humoured and curious about our reactions to them. So let's check in with your valued actions, the things that you wrote or thought about in the top right of this grid. What are you willing to let go of and to make space for in this moment, in the service of doing what you value? So this is the stuff, remember, that you've written down that you value, that's important to you, and this is your valued actions box. So what do you need to do in order to make this stuff, the stuff that you do more regularly than this stuff? So you may have to let go of watching Netflix until midnight in order to get to bed slightly earlier so that you can get up slightly earlier. Or you may need to let go of having a perfect house in order to prioritise time for yourself rather than time on your chores in the house. Or you may need to let go of having extreme control over your inbox in order to dedicate half an hour of each day for yourself at work. So let me leave you thinking about what happens if we continue to avoid and move away from the stuff that challenges us. I want you to imagine that that stuff is a beach ball and you're in the water. You want to push that stuff away. You want to not be able to see that beach ball. You want to avoid it. You want to push it under the water. Problem solved. You can't see the ball, it's under the water, and it's away from you. However, the pressure to push that ball down gets stronger and stronger the more you try to push it away. And the more you try, the more it will bounce back at you. It's also taking lots of your energy to hold the ball under the water. And if you're holding the ball under the water and you're really pushing hard, you don't really have any energy, you can't really do anything else. You can't look anywhere else, take your hands off, let go, because the ball's just going to push back at you and you're trying to push that stuff away. So don't let that beach ball of stuff control your life. Let go of pushing it away. Allow yourself to observe that those unhelpful thoughts, feelings and emotions are there, and recognize where your focus and energy can go when you're not struggling so hard to avoid challenging experiences. So those times when you feel like you want to, you know that getting up half an hour earlier and to do your exercises every day might be a bit painful. But by pushing it away and trying to avoid that stuff, you're then hurting your long-term overall values in life. So this month, I want you to let your beach ball be there. Just let it live alongside you with acceptance and compassion. And remember that first slide that I put on about what's outside your comfort zone when you turn to look at it and focus your energy. I hope that was helpful and a useful exercise. It's maybe a different way round to looking at complying to exercise programs and being able to fit them into your life. I'd really love your feedback. If you want to send me anything, do get in contact. All right, see you soon.